Right, so I decided to start this first little section with a quick renovation of the house, and the first thing I was doing was deleting those frogs because I haven't really done anything with them since the first couple parts, and actually putting in a real closet instead of that dresser. So the bedroom you'll find also gets the office space as well, since I'm going to be actually doing something in that room, which you'll see a bit later, and I'm preparing for something I want to do in the next couple parts. So I was trying to see if I could merge something into that desk. I tried it with the elements. I almost called them emotions for some reason, but I did that with the elements, and then I tried to do that with the bookshelf, and the bookshelf actually sits there for a while, but just know that that's not going to stay merged. I was having a really hard time trying to figure out where to place that elements rack anyway, because it's kind of an awkward shape, mostly because the fact that the legs stick out, so I would want it up against a wall, but the thing is, it doesn't sit as close to walls as I would like it, and so I end up doing something and actually glitching it through a wall and having to block off the legs that glitch through with random objects, but that will come in a bit. So this is a full height half wall, technically, so it's obviously not all the way up, but it's the tallest size, and so I kind of ended up just deciding to do that mostly for separation, plus there's an extra wall, now that the office space is actually genuinely there. So what I ended up deciding on doing was saying screw it and glitching that through, and then I tried to block the legs with objects. So I was going to put in one of those big mirrors because I like the design of it, but then I realized that that mirror also is glitching through the other side of the wall, and I didn't want to have two things glitching through walls, but if I pulled it out, it not only didn't block the object the way I wanted, but it also took up too much space next to the bed, and I tried different plants, and the first plant I pulled was huge, but that one's good, so I just left that in the corner because it looks nice against that wall, and so I was like, okay. And then I also put a different mirror in. I do put in a standing mirror, but I put that one in. And at first I tried to merge that in with the plant, and then I was like, that makes no sense. So I decided to just have that leg cover there, and I was like, whatever, that's good enough. You can't really see the pole through there, especially since the thing's black. And then I moved the rugs around like that, and that's pretty much how the bedroom stays. Like, that's all I did to it, minus lighting, which I'm doing there, which I touch up on again later. There's a bunch of saucer lights, and I don't really like how many there are right now, which means I should probably work on making the lighting more concise over time, but for now, that's fine. It's nowhere near finished as far as renovations go. I just decided to do some small things. Man, I'm trying to, like, narrate this as fast as possible, I guess, because this is only a 6-minute, like, bit at the front, and I have to explain everything in 6 minutes, but it's causing me to trip over everything, which I naturally trip over, like, everything anyway, so I guess that's no big deal. Like, if you guys have watched the rest of my Let's Play and actually, like, genuinely watched it, I mean, then you're probably used to it, because I make mistakes like that pretty much every episode. But yeah, so here's what I was doing with the office space, because I'm preparing for them eventually adopting a child, and I didn't decide if I wanted to adopt a baby or a child yet, so there is a bassinet in there, but we'll figure that out when I actually get to the adoption. That's definitely not happening this part, I know that for a fact, even though I haven't even recorded this part yet, because I'm doing the commentary before I actually go into the rest of the game and actually gameplay. That sentence is kind of weird. But anyway, so I'm not doing that yet, but I wanted to prepare. And then over here I decided to expand that side of the house, and I was going to expand the entire thing and then change my mind there. But I expanded the front area where the living room sat and the bathroom, and then I also expanded the deck to match. So this house did get some more major changes, mostly on the outside compared to the inside, and I also added a wall there. Now this is what I mean by I'm not completely finished. There is a little nook in between the bathroom and the hallway, which is that area behind the wall between there that I want to figure out something to do with, but right now it's just a little empty area. If anything, it'll have just a couple dressers or something. Not full dressers, but like the wall ends. And I was going to put a full couch in, but like most of my house videos, I always put a full couch in and then change my mind and put in love seats, just because full couches in this game are huge. Like, a lot of the CC couches I have aren't as big, and I could have used CC since there's multiple objects in here that are CC, but I decided just for the time being I wasn't going to bother with trying to find a good couch. I just wanted to keep the wicker style, because those are a perfect patio. And then I was also finally able to put a fourth chair on this dining table and move it around and actually let it sit somewhere instead of against a wall. I mean, against the wall was an okay spot, but I mean, I might as well move it since I'm doing changes and now there's more space for it. Now the roof was hell. I'll say that right now, this roof sucked. Because I was trying to figure out what to do with it, and I could not figure anything out. I tried to get these half wall things, half gable, whatever, to like line up with it, and I could not get it to do that at all. And it was just one of those things where I was kind of just like, well, this isn't going to work, so what's the point? And then I ended up just deciding to expand the little roof pieces all the way across, at least as far as the long side goes, because none of this was working. And I tried multiple ways of trying to get things to line up and realized, wait, this won't line up this way, this won't line up any other way, it's just not lining up. So I decided to just say screw it, and then redid the roof again. So yeah, this is when I was trying to figure out how to get everything to line up. And by the time I'd actually got that to be okay in the front, I realized it doesn't match the back. And then I tried to make it match the back, and then it was too long the other way. So this is where I delete the back side and extend. And then put in an extra little small fragment, which I think looks actually pretty good, since it's just there. And it's all the way lined up at the top like that, however, it's just a little extra slant, which is fine. And then I went ahead and filled in the top part of the roof. I don't know if I actually filled the outside of the house. I'm gonna have to check that during gameplay. And if I didn't, then I'll fix that really fast before I actually, like, play. But I'll do that on camera, of course, because I'm gonna check while recording. And then I moved the lights around so that it makes more sense as far as being centered. And then, yeah, that's what I mean. I have a bunch of saucers. I think that's like 6 saucer lights in this house that don't need to be there. But anyway, so now I'll be ready to see you guys for the recording. Thanks. Alright, I was dumb and set Fraps to not record external audio since I was doing the renovation thing. So everything that I said during this part is gone. So, I mean, I guess I can talk over it again, but I mean, at the same time, it's kind of taxing. So I guess I can just skim through it, but whatever. That kind of happens. So I'm doing new commentary over it since, you know, everything I said was lost. But basically, yeah, so this was the live gameplay footage. And here I am trying to explain something, I guess, which is why I'm moving the camera around like an idiot. But yeah, so they had just left off after their date. So they were in a pretty good mood. And they are, you know, flirty. So that was pretty much that. And so I guess I'm checking the UI because I always get lost in this UI. For some reason, every UI I get lost in. But, yeah. I'm still just kind of laughing at how stupid I was not setting it to record my mic again before recording, because that was like 20 minutes of talking that's just gone, but at least I can do this instead. So I had him take a shower, because I was taking care of needs and everything. And I was explaining how it was like weird to have the office over there. Plus, I also wanted Devontae to read a book. And I had him pick Love Something Sandwich, whatever that said, because it was a really, really stupid title. And I remember laughing at how stupid of a title that actually was. But yeah. This commentary on this is probably going to be really bad. I'm just saying right now, because I don't know how to really do commentary post when it comes to gameplay. Like, building's easy. It's like, oh yeah, I had this vision and blah. But with gameplay, it's like trying to say things as they happen and then missing. But I was going to have him dig up the rocks and then harvest that plant that's over there, just because I haven't done that in a while and I need the money. And I was like, okay, sure, go ahead and do that then. And then I also had them go ahead and just kind of cruise through the day, so I went to triple speed, because after he did that, I was just like, okay, especially because I wanted Devontae to go ahead and just read his book. I found a capsule, which I was like, ugh, it's another trophy, so let's just sell it. And then the plant, of course. So pretty soon we'll go into my inventory and sell those. So yeah, there's the crystal, which I almost sold, and then I was like, wait, I can get a new element. So I kept it, and I sent it to the Geo Council. I just sold the capsule without even opening it, and then I sold the plant. Which, looking back, the capsules are actually worth a lot without the trophy being opened, which is why I tend to just do that now. And then I was also making sure that Devontae had, you know, read his book and was doing stuff. And then was looking into, like, daily tasks and everything. But of course, this whole thing overall was just kind of keeping up with needs and having them go to work and do stuff. And I was like, trying to figure out when they could go on another date, and I think I said possibly next Tuesday, considering schedule conflicts. So I was like, okay, well, next Tuesday in game, they can go on a date. And then I was just kind of looking at different stuff, because I was looking at schedules to compare and be like, well, what time could they possibly go on a date? But Devontae's shift is from 11 to 7, and my shift was like 2 to 10. So I was like, let's do it after Devontae gets off. And I was like, well, wait, I'm working still. And then I had them cook, because I wanted him to cook something for us all, but I think that was also when he needed to pee and shower and stuff. So, oh no, because he's eating over there, so that must be later. But, I mean, yeah, they do eventually pretty much just take care of needs. And I was talking about how they like that bedroom, even though that's the kid's bedroom, because I guess I can explain this for like the 10th time, because, you know, in the build and then in the actual commentary and then now, basically, I'm planning on them having a kid at some point. Probably not this part, obviously not this part, actually, but in the next couple, sometime in there. So they have the room over there ready for kids. And then they slept, which, you know, triple speeds and everything. And then I was just talking about, like, more house stuff and plans for the next day, which was basically just take care of needs, go to work. And then I started actually queuing up what they should be doing with their time when they got up, just to kind of make sure they got everything done before they had to leave for work, especially because Devontae starts work pretty early compared to me, even though 11 isn't really early, but, you know, early enough. This is where we had the shower conflict, because I needed him to shower, but then I showered, and I was like, okay. And then he's like, oh, look, I can't walk in there, which will happen pretty soon. Yeah, right there. Just, I can't go in, so, you know, I had him go ahead and cancel out his cooking to shower, and then I finished up his cooking where he left off. Also, I'm just now noticing, yeah, the sink was broken pretty early on. I didn't quite notice it right away, and it took me a minute, and then I ended up just dealing with it later. But looking back on this, since post-recording is weird, I was just like, oh, yeah, no, that sink broken. And I don't know how I'm looking at that camera angle now. I didn't notice it when I was playing. Well, it's probably just because, you know, trying to focus on commentating everything. And then that's when they cooked. And then Devontae went and made his own food, because I continued where he left off, but I guess he only queued up a single meal and not like a group meal. And then they end up eating in here, and for some reason Devontae's clothes do not come back on for a few minutes. And so I'm just kind of sitting here like, why are you still naked? But, you know, it's just how the game works. So I was talking about clearing out my cache again, possibly, which would be fine. I could probably do that. And then, you know, they talk while they eat their food, which I had spaghetti, he had a BLT, and Devontae is outgoing. And then I was like, okay, well, you can clean, because now that you live here, you can help me around this house. Like, that's totally fine. Also, looking back on this, I'm realizing how, like, mundane sometimes Sims gameplay can be, because this was kind of a non-eventful part. Well, at least up to now. And so I was just kind of like, okay, throw that away, you know, clean this up, go check your mail when it's ready, go fix your sink, go ahead and shower and toilet, shower and pee, things like that. But then Devontae had to go to work, and so, you know, he's getting ready to do that as I mop up the floor and clean the sink and sell the parts. And then the mail was delivered, which has the element in it. So we're going to be walking over to the mail in a second and actually checking it and seeing what it was as Devontae goes to work. And when we do get our mail, we end up with, yeah, I was an 8. I was like, what was it? Yeah, so we put that in the shelf because I'm pretty sure we didn't have it, because that was me checking to see if it was there, and then I slide it in, and now it's in the shelf, which looking back, yeah, no, that was a new one. So there we go. And then I was frustrating because I don't understand how objects got up there, and then complaining about the desync between trying to drag stuff in the trash cans, which I've always had an issue with, especially because Move Objects was on, so I had to eventually get it onto the counter. And then once I got it on the counter, then I could get it into the trash can. And even then, it still didn't really want to get into the trash can. And then they were both at work, so time, skipped really fast because I had gone to work while messing with the trash can issue, which was dumb. But then that's when Devontae gets promoted to blogger. So I will eventually read that description, but like, I don't know, I guess I ignored it at first and then didn't even realize it because I just closed it. I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to read it fast enough a second time around because I read it pretty fast last time, but we'll see. So go ahead and cook, I guess, is basically what's going on. And I decided that I wanted to make him make a full group meal, but for some reason I wasn't really processing clicking on it, so I had him do like full group chili. I kept clicking on it and it wouldn't open, and I was like, why are you not opening? And I tried multiple things and it wouldn't open, and then I realized that was not what I wanted to do, and then all of a sudden there it was, and I'm like, okay. So he made a party-sized meal, like the big group meal. That way I could just have servings, which comes in handy. And then triple speeding to let him cook. And I believe that this is where I end up closing that notification, complaining about Kaz, because Kaz keeps calling and just being like, stop. Yeah, I closed that out and was like, wait, I closed that out without even reading it. So it says, promoted to blogger, Devontae's been promoted to blogger. He'll now make an additional $7 per hour for a grand total of $32. He also received the following bonus, $407. Middleton word processor's computer. Next shift is Sunday at 11. So that was what that basically was. Which, yeah, since I didn't actually go into the household inventory after this, I actually, next part at the beginning, probably need to sell the computer and sell other things that end up in there. But, yeah. So there he is actually cooking his group chili, which looks like spaghetti from there, but, Also, I was checking his outfit because I was talking about how his career outfit from writing is actually the same as the outfit he wore when he worked at Ringo's restaurant on my off time when I was just testing out Dine Out. I actually had him as one of the waiters, so he was wearing the same outfit, and I guess that's just because, according to the game, since he works at that restaurant too, that is considered his career outfit. So I kind of found that funny. And then I was checking on what my needs would be like before I came home. It was mostly just when he gets back, he's gonna sleep. And then I also had to drag that to the fridge. That way, leftovers would stay there. And we could just keep eating those in the next few days. That's when Cass calls again, and I'm like, bruh, stop. And then we start getting ready for me to eventually get home. Plus, I'm also trying to get ready so that I can send him to bed and drag the bowl away. Which does happen. So I'm like, okay, you can go to sleep. And then that's when I came home. And I was going to have him cancel anything out to go to bed, but he already was planning on going to bed in the first place. So I was like, okay, good, that's what I wanted. And then, throwing that bowl away again, just because I tend to do that. Instead of cleaning, I just throw the dishes away because endless dishes, pretty much. I miss when you could sell them, but oh well. You can't actually, drag food and stuff into the selling panel anymore, which means I actually have to find the trash can on the lot. And there's no just shift-click object delete like there was in Sims 3. There's reset object, but that won't delete it. So I actually do have to drag right now, but object delete would be great. And then I had decided to have him start practicing writing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think I did for a little bit because he needed to. And I had missed it, and so I was like, okay, practice writing. Because he needed to do that since he had gotten his promotion. And then I was looking through his traits just to see, what he was, because I was like, wait, why is he able to write a genre already? But I think that there's, 1 or 2 genres already unlocked. Even though I don't think he even really had any writing skill, because it said, get level 2, and it was 0 of 2. And then, since he needed to make food, make food or make drinks, I had him practice make drinks, and then I forgot practice making drinks doesn't actually count towards your daily task. Also, I'm just realizing he's dropping bottles, even though he's already at 8 for mixology, and I was looking at his skill level. He's 8 for mixology and 6 for cooking. And then this is when I look at career, eventually, because I'm looking at, stuff, and notice, wait, why is it not started? And that's when I realized, oh no, this doesn't count. So I actually canceled that out in a sec, and then I have him just make his favorite drink a few times. So, we'll see. Yeah, I'm still freaking out about how, wait, that's not working. So that's when I go to cancel that out. And we go make drink, make favorite drink, and we just spam that interaction. Although he started drinking that one for no reason, and I'm like, can you not? So I let him drink most of it, but eventually I do cancel it out. And then from there, I just have him make his drinks. He also needed to pee from drinking that, and I'm just like, damn it. So he's gonna go back to the bar, and he's going to go ahead and make those drinks. I mean, realistically, doing commentary this way is kind of boring and mundane, like I said, but at least I'm able to explain over video footage instead of like what happened partway through my last Sims 4 Let's Play, where Frapster straight up wouldn't even let me export the video. So I mean, at least you're seeing everything happen as I say it. It's just, yeah, that was kind of bad on my part, is that this ends up being post commentary, and I'm just like, well, okay. So yeah, so he's gonna go use the toilet because of that drink, and then when he's ready, he needs to head off to work, which Devontae had this day off, so he just kind of relaxed today. So I was gonna have him go back and eat that because apparently he needed to use the bathroom too, and then he just dropped what he needed to do, and then I was like, okay, well, eat your food then. And that's when I was getting ready to go to work, so work started in about an hour, and since that was all complete and everything, I was talking about how more than likely he's probably not going to get promoted now, but if he did, that'd be cool. But if anything, he'd probably get promoted tomorrow. So they were just going to talk while time went off, and then he was getting ready to go to work. And so he goes to work, and I made sure to have him set to work hard just to make sure that he worked hard. And Devontae just went and kind of went about his day. I let him use the computer a little bit more for fun, but then also decided to just let him watch a movie. So I was like, okay, well, get off your computer for now and come watch a movie, and I had him watch Sim of the Dead. And then after kind of zooming in and letting him do that and zooming back out, like you'll find after a few times of doing that and like ignoring the the deck, and coming back, all of a sudden, like, hang on, it's coming up, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Marisol disappears. And I'm like, okay. So, yeah, we decided to introduce him to her. And I was talking about Ladies' Night, since that's Bayonetta's club, since she's here with the other Smash Girls. And then cash shortage. And then I was like, you would totally yell at the dude. So he did report the coworker. And yeah. So that gave us a performance game, which was good. And then we went and introduced ourselves to Marisol while the real me was at work. Devontae went ahead and talked to her. And then went and finished his movie. And then went back out to keep talking to her. And then, you know, she ends up walking in, even though I assumed that she was going to walk away, but that's okay, she stayed here for a while, and I was kind of hoping I'd get home from work, and she'd still be here, but she ended up leaving pretty soon, so she just kind of sat on the computer before she left. And Devontae had to keep taking care of his needs. I was talking about how he knows people, and that his relationship with Kaz is probably going to dwindle. And then Marisol went to eat some of her food, which was okay, because we had the servings. And I was talking about how, like, we still had to be at work for a while, and she was probably going to leave by then. I think that this is when she about leaves, about 8 o'clock. Because Devontae's cleaning up the dishes, and then talking about stuff. And, oh yeah, I went up to 8 o'clock and then dropped back down to 7:30, which was because of the time skipping. I was talking about how it was doing that again. And he was telling some jokes, which let him acquire comedy skill. And then, right after that was, I should get going, I'll see you later. Thanks for hanging out with me. So, Devontae went and drank some water, and then I'm pretty sure that was Kaz calling again. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll check your phone. And yeah, I need to get out of the house, come get dinner with me. And I'm like, no. And that's what I was talking about, how like if someone bugs you about something and you say no, and then they bug you about something else, it's like, what are you expecting me to say? Because I was talking about how like, obviously, if he's not in the mood to hang out and go to dinner, he's not going to be in the mood to do something else. So I had him go to bed while he waited for me. And then I'm about to get off of work, and there we go. This is when I got to select my branch and go mixologist, which actually fulfills the next level of my aspiration. So I was looking into that, and I was like, okay. So then I had to do level 10 mixology, which I'm already level 8, and creating 5 types of excellent drink, and then I went ahead and actually looked at the panel about that, because I was finally like, well, look, this is now done, and this is what we need to do next. And then I read this, promoted to head mixologist. He will now make an additional $2 per hour for a grand total of $45 an hour. Also gained about $700, and the Captain Rodrigo de Pablo cask. Next shift is Sunday at 6 p.m. So I was talking about how his hours are kind of weird because it's now 6 to 1, but that's okay. Yeah. And then I went ahead and took care of their needs, and basically once their needs were all green, I went ahead and stopped. So I pretty much stopped commentating at that point anyway, because I was like, well, let's just get all these needs to green, and after that I can sign out. So yeah, pretty much same here. Basically the rest of the last couple minutes of this, like minute and a half of this, is just making sure that needs are okay, and making sure that it's ready for next part, that we haven't to do any of that between the parts. So thank you for bearing with me for post commentary, and I'll definitely see you guys next time and make sure that I get the right settings on Fraps and actually record correctly. So yeah, thanks again. Bye.